Now, I feel like this is going to be a very spiritual type reading today because sitting here in meditation just before getting my download, all I heard was, you want to get woo-woo? Let's get woo-woo. Could be a carry on from yesterday's reading, which was Stranger Things Have Happened. So, all right, let's dive in and find out what is going on. But I feel like I've been picking up on some real spiritual baddies lately, whether that be, you know, you guys have been on your journey for quite some time. You could be tarot readers, you could be Reiki masters, just in that kind of quantum field, who obviously, watch and learn and things like that. Or you're a little bit of a novice. You're stepping into this spiritual realm, because I also help a lot of you guys as well. That's why I've written 10 ebooks called the Awakening series, to be able to help people like you who have just kind of stepped out into spirituality and don't really know too much, and want a bit of guidance. So if you are interested in those ebooks, I do have them listed on my website. But either way, you want to get woo-woo, let's get woo-woo. Where are we going from here? I don't know. Let's see. Strength. Okay. Courage, passion, subtle power, influence, inner strength, focus, and compassion here. Whether you are just starting out on this kind of spiritual journey, okay, the road to enlightenment, the road to figuring out who you are at your core, because that's what it is, or whether, you're a well-versed person when it comes to your beliefs and your views, have strength in them, have faith. We all need to learn, and we're always constantly learning and evolving. But have faith and strength in what you believe. And this doesn't have to be just spirituality. If this is religion as well, like for me personally, and the way that I view spirituality actually is kind of taking all of those beautiful things from every religion and forming them as your own. That's kind of like the basis for me. But at the end of the day, my universal truth, being a good person, you're respecting people, you're self-aware, okay, you are helping other people be the best versions of themselves. That to me is kind of like the core fundamentals here when it comes to, spirituality, so to speak. That's how I like to live my life by, and that's my strength, and that's what I stand in. Okay, so what else? What else for you guys? Two of Cups, unified love, partnership, love between you, God, source, the universe, your spirit team. That's why I always include all of them, because it's not like I ever take away from any religion. God is God. Whether you call that source, universe, it is one. It is the one, the creator. We are all that as well. Like I said, you want to get woo-woo? Let's get woo-woo. All right. I'm just going to do this, and then we'll go into what do you guys need to know. And the thing is, the difference is when we become activated to the universal frequency, which generally does lead us into some form of enlightenment, whether that be going through down the spiritualist road or through to religion. It's from trauma. It's the fact that we have suffered that much trauma in our lives that we can't take anymore, and it cracks us wide open. Now, on the weekend, actually, and I've been wanting to tell this story all week. So on the weekend, I went down to a very popular beach spot here in Adelaide, and there was a Christian group down there, and the lady, I stopped and I listened. And the lady there, she was explaining her story of how she came into finding God, finding enlightenment for her. And her story was no different than any of ours. She suffered. Terrible, terrible, terrible things happened to her whole life. Until one day she said, there has to be something better than this. And they were the literal words out of her mouth. And I'm like, that is what I say all the time when we're looking for something, bigger and better. It's true. And I mean, I got very teary because I've been there. Yes, I found something different, but it's all the same. It was such a beautiful, special story. And to me, I do not care how people find their light in this world. It's the fact that it happened. It was just such a beautiful thing. Just a rebirth. It's a complete, total rebirth. And that beautiful lady who was telling her story, she's happy now. She helps other people. She helps other people to see the light. Emperor. It helps you when it comes to spirituality. It helps you to break out of the mold, break out of the system, so to speak, you know. It helps you to see past all of the 85% of the world, you know, that just eat, sleep, repeat. You know, there's nothing wrong with people if you want to be able to just have a 9-to-5 job, you know, have the Truman Show life, let's say. There's nothing wrong with that. But other people, entrepreneurs are very big in this, but, you know, other people in life, they don't want to fit that mold. They want to do something different. And this is what happens when you have an awakening. It cracks you out of that. You start to see through the system. You start to see that, you know, maybe some of the things that you've been hearing on the TV about the governments or whatever it is isn't exactly true. I haven't even started talking about the 5D Earth yet. I'm kind of trying to keep this a little bit introductory here, but this is what specifically a spiritual awakening will do for you. Helps you to see through the BS of this life, okay? Not everyone gets to do this. Is why it's 85%. And the other 10%, they're the world leaders. 5%. That still works out to millions of people. That 5% of this world actually get to really wake up, find themselves, be who they're actually destined to be, break the mold of society, and be gosh darn proud of it. Hierophant. Becoming your own spiritual master. You know, it's just beautiful. Breaking through the society's rules. What else? Once you're cracked open, it requires... You want to start looking within. That's the thing. You've already been asking yourself, there has to be more to life than this. You know? You start to go within. You look at yourself in the mirror and you say, what do I need to do to become the best version of me? For someone who has never thought of that before and has lived a life with their eyes closed, can be very confronting, okay? That's why it's called shadow work. It's our shadow. Some of the process is easy. You know, when I work with clients doing hypnotherapy, timeline therapy, the process is easy. But looking at yourself in the mirror and really going, oh my God, what is wrong with me? I want to fix it. That takes courage. That does take strength. But once you get past it and you unlock those things and you clear them, the amount of relief that you feel, it's unmatched. It's amazing. It's that self-development. Once you start seeing the changes in your reality because you've changed yourself, it gets addictive. You get on that self-development train and then you want to help do it for others in all different kinds of forms, okay? That's how a lot of us light workers are born, you know? We've come into it from a life full of trauma. We understand what pain is. We want to be able to help others get through their pain because we've been on that side. We've seen it. We've also seen the difference it makes when you get on the other side. What else? Oh, Emperor and the Empress, you see through the BS. You start to see, you know what, a lot of us as well, you know, we come from having worthiness issues because of the trauma that we've, you know, had to deal with our whole life. Whether that be, you know, whether we inflicted that trauma on ourselves or whether that was inflicted on us. You know, we get a lot of our, you know, the way that we believe, you know, our world to be, our limiting beliefs and limiting decisions, you know, they're all formed in our little brains from such a young age. It's what we're told. You guys ever heard that money doesn't grow on trees? What is that saying? What is that decision? If you heard that growing up, money doesn't grow on trees, for example, what kind of belief do you have about money? That it's hard to get? It's not attainable? You have to work hard for every single dollar that you own? Do you see what I'm saying here? Okay, that's just one example. What are some of the limiting beliefs or limiting decisions you have about yourself? I want you to dive in and I want you to ask yourself that today. To the people that are new to shadow work, ask yourself. If you find that you always say something like, you know, it's not easy for me because of this, or I always do that, but it's coming from a negative place. That's a decision. When did you decide to do that? The other good thing is, it's when you get on the other side and you're really living in your spiritual element here, you kind of at flow, you're in flow with the universe, okay? You're aware that things do flow. You let go of control. Things do come easily and effortlessly, whether that be love, money, career, family, whatever. Control is a really hard one to be able to get over because it can be. Because it can seep into so many different areas of your life, you know. People who have closure issues, that's due to control. People who love to have rigid routines. Where does that stem from? It's part of control. Ask yourself, what is the purpose of me having a rigid routine? Sometimes it could be good motivation. Sometimes it could be not so good motivation, but it's understanding where it comes from. But control is a big one. And when you've been able to heal out a lot of that, things feel easier. You're not as stressed as much because you're not trying to hold on to something so tightly. And for people who are watching and they're thinking, oh my God, this sounds like such a big job, and like, oh, will I ever be able to get over it? You know, we ascend, we heal things out. But remember, we're also, us humans, we're like an onion, okay? We're layers. We have layers and layers and layers. You think about it. If you're in your 30s or 40s, how many years have you been doing those same things, having those same decisions, making decisions that, you know, can cause more trauma? It's like we get rid of stuff, okay? We uncover something else. Doesn't mean that we're not getting better. We're peeling off layers. And every level has a devil. You might think that some days you've healed something out, but then a year later something else happens. It's just another layer. But also remember, every level has a devil. So how did you handle that situation last time compared to what you did now? That's also how you know that you're healing. If you handle the situation differently from the time before. How are you handling your situations these days? Ask yourself that. What else? Anxiety. Fear, worry, depression. Could be something as well that you guys are worried about coming out of the spiritual closet, so to speak. You know, if you have kind of woken up from dormancy, so talking about, you know, waking up when you're older, after you've experienced enough trauma. You start seeing all the signs and the synchronicities, angel numbers start popping out. I remember saying to a friend a few years ago, I'm like, I don't see angel numbers. Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, I see 111 and 222 everywhere. Yeah, well, it wasn't too much later, and now they're up everywhere, okay? But it's about, because your body is coming into that frequency. It's coming into your awareness now. You know, it's similar with the car theory. When you buy a brand new car, you start to see that car everywhere. It's because it's come into your awareness now. You've aligned with that frequency, okay? And so what I'm saying here is, you know, if you're waking up to this and you have a lot of questions and you potentially may be worried how people are going to feel, you know, you might come off as a little bit crazy. That's how you're perceiving this, okay? Sometimes we do. Okay, been there. But you get over it. And the thing is that you settle down a little bit. I mean, people who have been following me for a long time, you guys know. You guys know how much have I grown in the past couple of years. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm just saying I'm sharing my journey and I'm sharing it with you guys. And I have experienced a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've learned a lot of lessons in this road trip. That's why I can help you guys through this, especially you newbies. For those of you who don't know me, I used to work in the corporate world. Like, for years, all I ever cared about was chasing the corporate ladder, becoming a big GM of a big corporation. I didn't care about spirituality. Yeah, I was always into horoscopes and I daydreamed a lot, but I never thought that I would be sitting here helping other people change their lives for the better. But I will say that I'm so glad that I did wake up this lifetime, because what I do now is so rewarding. It fills me with so much joy. I've never done anything that gives me so much happiness to see other people help themselves. I'm going to get emotional because I always do, because I'm so grateful. So to anyone who's listening and you guys are worried about what people are going to think of you or think that you're crazy for going through this, you're not. And the people who are meant to be in your life will stay. And the ones who do really care about you and love you unconditionally, they'll be there for you. And the ones who think you're cray-cray, well, they'll drop off sooner or later. And I know that that may be painful to hear, but what happens is it's actually really either a natural progression where you just don't feel like you're in alignment with those people anymore, or the universe will get them out of your life because they want you to succeed. God, source, universe, your spirit team, they want you to succeed. They want you to be the best version of you. Okay? What can happen as well when you're going through a bit of an awakening and you start to become proud of yourself, start to become proud of, you know, what you're experiencing. Maybe you are stepping into learning some sort of modality here. You get into that what we like to call it is the kind of the dark feminine era, okay, where it's just a dark masculine, but not in a bad way. It's that go-getter. Like, you believe that you can take on the world. You do. You stand in your strength. Ambitious, action-orientated, driven to succeed. By golly, you are. All right. Well, I'm going to leave this section of the reading to that. What I'm going to go into next is what's coming up for you guys. This woo-woo collective. Someone who's bloody proud out there to be woo-woo. All right. Standing in your power. All right. What is coming next? Let me find out what cards are on. All right. I'm here in 8 weeks. What's coming next? 8 weeks. What are you guys looking for in 8 weeks? Looking for, there you go. You want to get woo-woo? Let's get woo-woo. I felt like I sounded like Jimmy Carr there with that. Who's laugh? Raise, release, and reclaim. Reprogramming your soul. Okay, so I'm hearing for your little spiritual newbies here. All right. Doing that shadow work. Standing in front of the mirror. Ask yourself, you know, and I did a post today on this as well. It's like when we're feeling triggered, it's actually a part of ourselves that we are rejecting that other person is showing us. They're mirroring something that we don't like about ourselves back to us. Really pay attention. And I feel that the other experienced people who are watching this reading as well, there is going to be a level of shadow work that is coming up for you guys. But release, raise, and reclaim. So reprogramming, getting rid of those last little bits, you know, or maybe something has come up for you. Just again, there's a reason why I said that too. But reclaim your power. You guys are effing magical. Anyone who gets to wake up in this world, proud. It's like I did a reading last week and it was with great power comes great responsibility. If you've had the opportunity to wake up in this world, you have a responsibility here to make the world a better place. My universal truth here is what I believe. We have a responsibility. Not everyone gets to wake up. What else is coming next 8 weeks? You could be seeing 555 everywhere too. Big significant changes, you know. What else is coming up? Expanding your consciousness. High priestess mode. High priestess mode, okay? Expanding your consciousness. Getting involved in communities, I'm hearing. And that's the other thing as well. It's fine to stay in our little bubble for a while where we're healing and doing all that sort of stuff. But you guys, you really need to get yourselves back out there and get yourselves back into situations where you may feel uncomfortable or just out in the big wide world. You can't stay indoors forever by yourself. Otherwise, how are you going to actually know whether you've healed or not too? It's by going through those experiences, having those moments where we're, you know, burning to learn, so to speak. It's through having those moments that we know. It's how we can gauge how we've really healed from something, or what do we need to learn. And when we look at it from that perspective of even if we have been triggered again, or if there's been a negative event that's happened in our life, ask yourself, what do I need to learn from this situation? What is this teaching me? Because what happens is it also helps to take that pain away too. Take that burden, take that sorrow. If you see it as just a lesson, what do I need to learn from this right now? You're able to overcome it so much quicker and integrate what that lesson was. So then you know for next time. But get out there, get amongst the people. Expand your consciousness. What else are you doing to expand your consciousness? When was the last time you read something out of the ordinary or went and did something different? Practicing intuition games as well. Meditating with other people, you know, is what I'm hearing. Listening to different, what's the word? Hang on. Inspirational people. You know, there are so many different kinds of inspirational people out there. Listening to different things, you know. Dolores Cannon, she's one of my favorites, and that's because we're both hypnotherapists, okay? And her things were proven. So there you go. There's a little bit of logic there. That's what I love. But, you know, Carl Jung is another one. There's, you know, Magic by the Moon. There's so many out there to learn from. Have interest in all of it. Learn from all different aspects. So many different things. Past life healing. Timeline therapy. Do some timeline therapy. That'll help with your shadow work. Violet flame activation, mastering your own alchemy here. Could be another thing. Learn about the angels. I know a lot of people in the spiritual community, we already work with a lot of angels, but for those of you who are new, look at the religious aspect when it comes to working with angels. You know, there's so many different kinds as well. How much do you know about protection? How much do you know about spiritual hygiene? Making sure you cleanse yourself, making sure you protect your energy. And of course, the absolute transformation here for you guys, the battle of the head versus heart. Getting out of your head. You know, it's that programming that we have suffered, you know, from when we were such a young age here. It's being able to clear that out and live and think and breathe from our heart space, not our head space. Our head loves to be able to confuse us. That's where the ego comes in from. Next time you've got a really big decision to make, I want you to sit there and I want you to breathe. Ask the question, but as you're asking yourself the question, think about it coming from your heart space. Think about, like, if your heart could answer, what would those words be? And then it's the very first answer you hear, okay? That's your intuition. That's that gut instinct, okay? Rest after that is ego. But the battle of the head versus the heart. Could also be seeing 444 a lot is what I'm hearing. What else is coming up for you guys? Woo. Nurturing that inner child. Yeah, like I said, practicing self-love. Whether you are a newbie or you're a spiritual baddie, the next 8 weeks, you guys, you got some work cut out for you. But the good thing is, and one of the things I love the most is when you actually do the healing work, as you're peeling off those layers, your intuitive gifts, they get stronger. Because what happens is as we peel off those layers, it's like we're more aware of ourselves, and B, you know, we understand more about universal laws and things like that. Even if you haven't actually done any reading on them, it's something that kind of springs back up from your unconscious, okay? And so as you heal, your powers get stronger, okay? Your intuitive gifts. You know, your clairaudience might get stronger. Your mediumship might get stronger. You unlock things. And there's a good reason behind that as well. Imagine if you didn't heal, right? And your gifts kept on increasing, but your thought path, the way that you viewed the world, all of that stuff didn't change. What would happen then? You'd be given all this power, but no real knowledge about how to use it. That's how supervillains are built. That's why they happen one within the other, okay? So if you are looking to become a spiritual master, increase your gifts, get better at mediumship, get better at tarot reading, feeling energy, working with energy, do some healing work. I find a lot of my transformation clients as well, when I work with them, they end up developing a lot of special gifts. It's because they're unlocking them as they're doing the healing work. It's like the universe won't give it to you unless you do it, okay? And, you know, there are shortcuts. People can take shortcuts as well, but what happens is if you take shortcuts, you can also have them stripped away from you just as easily too. So just a side note to people out there who think, how can I do this quicker, okay? It's karma. What goes around comes around. What else? What else to this awesome collective here today? Like I said, you wanted to get woo-woo, we got woo-woo. This is nothing. Awareness, crystal clear vision. And it comes to expanding your consciousness as well, okay? There's so many levels and layers to consciousness too, you know. It's all about unlocking that as well. And knowledge is power, like in a good way, all right? And I know that I have a lot of beautiful people out there who watch me who have ADHD, okay? And if you're not into reading audiobooks, find out what way, what method works best for you. But also as well, learn something that you want to learn, that you're passionate about, okay? Because if you're met with resistance, you're not going to retain the information. It's not going to sit right, and you're just going to be fidgety. You're just not going to want to sit there and learn. So when you are trying to expand your consciousness and learn something new, find something that excites you. You know, it could be conspiracy theories. It could be some of Dolores Cannon's work. It could be about the twin flame journey. It could be about the origin of Reiki or working with Pachamama and cacao, the sacred lands, you know, specific lineages. There's so many different things out there. Gravitate to what you want to work on at that time, because it'll help you. You'll be able to retain it. And the thing is, when we've had past lives here, have you ever noticed when you've learned something and you've picked it up really easily, or if it's just come kind of natural to you? It's actually because you've learnt it in a previous life. All you're doing is unlocking that knowledge again, because it's your consciousness. That consciousness, your soul, right? That comes with you lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. But obviously, when we're born, we forget all of that. So what's happening is you're learning it. It's because you've learned something from that past lifetime. That's why it feels easy, because you've done it before. I'm also hearing as well, specifically, like, look up near-death experiences as well and what can happen, and some really good TV shows. The OA, that was one that I watched when I first started. I didn't even know I was waking up then, okay? This is pre-activation, but open your mind. What else? What else is coming up? Fast track to ascension. Be careful, like I said, but past life healing. It's not also just about healing yourself in this timeline. It is about clearing out karma and things that have happened in your past too. And, you know, one thing that's very prominent in children is, you know, and that's why I wanted you guys to look at near-death experiences and stuff like that. But look up, you know, children talking about their past lives. There's been so much, like, real documentation that's done on it, where it's like, oh, you know, I was a fighter in a jet plane, you know, when I died, and then now I'm here. It's clearing out those lifetimes and stuff too. And say, for instance, if that's how that child died, right, in a plane crash in a previous life, and that child also may have a fear of flying. So have you got some sort of irrational fear and you have no idea where it's come from? It could be from a past life. Some of our other fears as well. So this is a very popular one amongst the female spiritual community as well, especially when, you know, coming out of the spiritual closet because of judgment. You could have been a witch in a previous life, you know. You could have been put to rest. That happens. Also doing past life regression. It's such a great thing to do, to be able to see kind of, you know, what happened to you in your previous lifetimes. It also can make a lot of sense as to why you are the person you are today, okay? What else? You can do it! Someone literally says, you can do it. Remembering your identity. I think that's kind of what we've been talking about, right? Remembering who you are. It's not until after you get activated and you wake up and you start to remember. You start to see through everything. And mission in motion. Honor your agreement. That's the other thing, you know, when we, before we come back down and do another lifetime, we're up there, wherever that is, writing a new contract, saying what we're going to do this lifetime, the trouble that we're going to go through. What do we need to learn? What karma have we got from the previous life that still needs to come through? It's all pre-organized and predestined before we even get here. Anyone who is not spiritual or who isn't interested in this would be thinking I am gosh darn crazy right now. But that's okay. You're listening for a reason. All right. Now, one of the biggest tests that most of us have in this lifetime is patience. Because what patience requires is a level of faith. Is a level of faith that whatever is destined for us will happen. And as we heal, and as we realize that in life we can't control everything, we sit back and we receive. It's allowing patience to happen. That is a tough one to get over. But like I said, every level has a devil. Okay? For those of you who are on the journey and have been for a long time, and you're sitting here going, oh my God, I remember, yeah, like patience sucks. Ask yourself, what have I been patient for? Where have I been patient throughout my lifetime and waited for the good to come in? I bet there's been a lot. And with every goal that we master, every win that we have, it gets easier. And it's having that level of faith. Level of faith that we're always looked after by our spirit team, by God, source, the universe. You just got to ask for their help and pray, meditate. You know, prayer doesn't have to be this. I'll talk to my team all the time and just say, hey team, what's going on? I need some help down here. But it's showing them gratitude. Show them gratitude as well. You know, that's the biggest thing. Being grateful for the people who do look after you, okay? In this life. And the ones that we can't see, okay? All right, I want to give you guys a universal message, and then I'm going to call it for a day. All right, universal message for this beautiful collective. Okay, so maybe a little bit of a reminder for you guys out there, but when a door doesn't open, don't waste your energy trying to make it open. It's that control again, okay? It's closed for a reason. You're being redirected to something far bigger and far better. Endings are a part of life. They make way for wonderful new beginnings and opportunities. And whenever you talk to us, oh, see, confirmation. I love magic in action. All right, whenever you talk to us, it never goes unheard. See, thank your spirit team. We hear every single word. This is your confirmation that we're assisting you and guiding you and ensuring your wishes finally come to fruition. You got to ask, guys, got to pray, whatever you want to say, okay? But make sure you say please and thank you. Okay, be patient. Everything will come together for you. Ain't that the truth? It's that level of faith. And the spirit team just confirmed it. Love it. Love it so much. All right, guys. I love you all so much. I love working with you guys. Like I said, honestly, it's the best job I've ever had. Whether I'm doing tarot readings online as collectives or one-on-one or pre-recorded, or whether I've got you guys in for, you know, a coaching or a hypno session. However I can help you guys in this world, it just brings me so much joy. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be able to do this. See, getting all emotional because I love it so much. Anyway, much love.